Well, good morning, friends. So, as I've been thinking about, maybe what God is saying to the church during this season, and even individually, maybe what He's saying, one of the things that He really impressed upon my heart was this really cool opportunity that we have to be gospel-driven, like Bible-living people. Like we really get to live out our faith in awesome ways to our neighbors, to our families, to our kids, to our spouses. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is how cool of an opportunity this is, even in the midst of all that's going on. And I get it, there's a lot of uncertainty, and there are people that are dealing with health issues and different things like that. But there is like this unique and cool opportunity in the midst of it that we get to like really disciple our kids. Like what a present for us, even in this kind of season of uncertainty, like I said. And so the Lord drew me to a passage in Scripture, to Deuteronomy chapter 6. And just a little background. So this is Moses, and he's talking to the people. Of course, he's already led them out of Egypt, and he's given them commandments and the law and different things like that. And so he's reminding them of different things kind of in Deuteronomy and ways to live and to practice their faith and certain ways to live. And so this is a portion of Scripture that Jews call the Shema. And so it's one of their main central prayers that they actually still recite today. This is one passage out of 3 that they actually recite, but it's hugely important. And so Moses, again, he's talking to the Israelites here, and this is what he says. He says this, he says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. These commands that I give to you today are to be upon your hearts." And I love this part. In verse 7 of chapter 6, he says, "Impress them upon your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates." So Moses is giving like this clear directive that we need to be discipling our children. And Pastor Matt, I think, said it once. He said, if we're not discipling our children, our own children, then the world will definitely take up that void. They'll fill that void by discipling them in all sorts of different ways and different things. And so it's imperative, it's directive from Scripture that we disciple our children in the ways of the Lord. Because what we see here in Deuteronomy chapter 6, Moses, he gives this charge. The Israelites, they love the Lord. They kind of go back and forth, but that's to be expected. But they always come back to him. And it says that once Moses died, he actually passed this mantle of leadership on to a guy named Joshua. Joshua then would go and inherit the promised land and all that good stuff. But there's something that happens after Joshua passes away. Joshua, he leads them, they conquer the promised land. Joshua ends up passing away, and some of the elders that lived with him, that outlived him, they serve the Lord. But something happens not too many generations removed from Moses and Joshua. Check this out in Judges chapter 2, verses 10 and following. It says, "After that, the whole generation had been gathered to their fathers. Another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what He had done for Israel." And it goes on to say they did evil in the sight of the Lord. This was only a few generations removed from Joshua. And so I think it's imperative to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6, where Moses says, man, impress these things on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, when you get up, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and tie them as symbols on your hands. So whatever you're doing with your hands, like whatever you're kind of, serving and doing, like you'll be reminded of who God is, what He's done, how important He is. And he says, tie them on your foreheads. Like when you look, that you'll see everything through the vision and the lens of Jesus. So it's hugely important that we, in this time, choose to disciple our children. Now, I know for some of us, that freaks us out. We're thinking, I have nowhere to start. I don't know much about the Bible. I'm not a theologian. And I want to tell you this, don't fear. Don't fear. Start somewhere. Call us, call a friend, maybe somebody that you do know that knows the Lord that can maybe give you a little help. But start somewhere. Discipleship is a choice that we get to do with our children. Use this as an opportunity to bring glory to the Lord, to raise our children up in the ways they should go, that they won't depart from it when they get older. And so I'm challenging us to disciple our kids, and don't fear. So one of the ways in which you can begin to start this discipleship with your family is that we want to provide you with some questions, of course, in the upcoming days as we put out some of these devotionals, but even right now. And so take a few moments. You'll find questions below, probably in the description of the video, whatever platform you're on, and take a moment and ask these questions with your kids, or maybe just in your own heart if you're by yourself. And just really ponder maybe what the Lord wants to say to you, wants to say in this moment to your family, how He wants to minister to you, encourage you, challenge you. And again, discipleship starts here, it starts now, and we just want to encourage you to go for it.